尊敬的各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家好。2020中加娱乐科技高峰论坛于蒙特利尔时间9月18日晚8点30分，北京时间9月19日早8点30分，同时启动了。欢迎大家来到2020中加娱乐科技高峰论坛网上现场。
Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Canada-China Entertainment Technology Summit has launched at 8:30 p.m. on September 18th Montreal time and 8:30 a.m. on September 19th Beijing time. Welcome to the online forum of the 2020 the ET Summit at the 5th CCIFF.
本届论坛由中加艺术科技联盟、中加国际电影节组委会、中国金田影视产业园、中国科技文化传播产业创新平台主办，由中关村海外人才创业园协会、北京技术长协会、中国校园微电影联盟协办。疫情挡不住我们前行的步伐，今年论坛让我们用一种新的形式开展思想上的交流与碰撞，共同聆听专家的声音。
This forum is organized by the Canada-China Art Tech, the Canada-China International Film Festival, China Jintian Film and Television Industrial Park, and China Science and Technology Cultural Communication Innovation Platform, co-organized by Zhongguancun Overseas Talent Pioneer Park, Beijing Technology Marketing Association, and China Campus Microfilm Alliance. Due to the COVID-19 epidemic, this year the summit is presented online in a brand new format to carry out exchange of ideas and perspectives and listen to the voices of the pioneers in this particular field.
本次论坛我们特别邀请了10位相关领域的专家，他们将围绕娱乐科技主题分享经验，探讨未来，为娱乐科技产业发展及其国内外相关机构的交流与合作出谋划策。下面我们开始嘉宾的演讲环节。
In this summit, we have specially invited 10 leading experts in related fields. They will share their experience and discuss the future around the theme of entertainment technology and shed light on the development of ET industry and cooperation among relevant institutions at home and abroad.
首先，我来介绍一下今天出场的演讲嘉宾。按照出场的顺序，他们是加拿大康考迪亚大学教授、中加国际电影节主席宋苗女士，中科院自动化所正研究员，中国科技文化传播产业创新平台执行副理事长兼秘书长葛水英女士，加拿大 Seven Finger 剧团总裁与创意制作人 Nesbitt I. Harsuni and Oliver Gollet 先生，中国金田影视智慧传媒产业园杨峰先生，加拿大 Derivative 公司Ben White 先生，中国融创文化旅游集团肖洪博先生，加拿大 Moment Factory 公司东京办事处 Norman de Pierre Bolliger 先生，中国北京水晶石文博展示有限公司总裁王朝华先生，美国谷歌 VR 高级科学家 Paul Debevik 先生，中国著名导演胡梅女士。感谢各位嘉宾的光临。我是中国科技文化传播产业创新平台常务副秘书长刘庆莲，非常高兴能主持今天的会议。
First of all, please let me introduce the guest speakers today in the order of appearances. They are Ms. Song Miao, Professor of Concordia University and Chairwoman of China-Canada International Film Festival, Ms. Ge Shuiying, Research Fellow at the Institute of Automation, Chinese Academy of Science, Executive Vice Chairwoman and Secretary General of China's Technology and Cultural Communication Innovation Platform, Mr. Nasib Husseini and Olivia Goulet, President and Creative Producer of Seven Finger Theatre of Canada, Mr. Yang Feng, China Jintian Film and Television Smart Media Industrial Park, Mr. Ben Voigt from Canadian Derivative Company, Mr. Xiao Hongbo from China Sonic Culture Tourism Group, Mr. Norman Pierre Bilodeau, Tokyo Office of Moment Factory, Canada, Mr. Wang Chaohua, President of Beijing Crystal Stone Culture Exhibition Company, Dr. Paul Debevik, Senior Scientist at Google BR in the United States, and Ms. Wu Mei, a well-known Chinese film director. Welcome all of you. I am Liu Qinglian, Executive Deputy Secretary General of China's Technology and Cultural Communication Innovation Platform. I am very happy to preside over today's meeting.
下面我首先介绍第一位演讲嘉宾，她是位美女博士，她是康考迪亚大学计算机工程学教授，曾多次承担大学和政府科研基金项目，取得优异成绩。她也是纪录片导演，在北京国际电影节上荣获电影看世界纪录片短片大赛最佳纪录片等奖项。2015年创建中加艺术科技联盟，作为中加国际电影节创始人，担任主席至今。下面有请宋淼博士开始演讲。
Let me first introduce the first guest speaker. She is a professor in the Gina Goldie School of Engineering and Computer Science at Concordia University. Throughout her career, she has undertaken many university and government scientific research foundations and has achieved excellent results. She is also a documentary director and won Best Documentary Award in the Movie Watching the World documentary short film competition at the Beijing International Film Festival. She founded the Canada-China Art Tech in 2015 and has served as the chairwoman of the Canada-China International Film Festival till now. Next, let's invite Dr. Song Miao to give the first speech.
Thank you, everyone. This is Miao. I'm so happy to see everyone here, and good evening for our North America audience. 很感谢中国的观众啊，你们现在是非常早，周六的早晨，谢谢你们到场能参加这个论坛。因为今天我的这个演讲材料大概都是中文的，所以我一会儿演讲会用英文来演讲。Since my PowerPoint is in Chinese, so I will do my presentation in English. Today I will talk about who we are, what we are doing, and anything else about us. So a lot of people know us as a Canada-China International Film Festival, which is organized by the nonprofit organization Canada-China Art Tech. So also my official title is at the university as a researcher, as a faculty member. Also some of the students also join us today online as well. Actually, this summit is a serious summit supported by the Quebec government, so from the Ministry of Culture and Communication. It's a series of 4 summits. So we have done 2 summits last year, April in Beijing. The topic was in culture, heritage, and digital media. So the second one was hosted in Montreal during 4th edition of Canada-China International Film Festival. It was about performance art and interactive media. So that's a photo from last year, our awesome coordinators and scholars and industry partners in Beijing. So today is the 3rd summit. It's in digital media and interactive media. It's innovation and applications. So you will see a lot of awesome speakers there. Next one will be our last one of the series. So it's going to be in November. Partially will be hosted in China, but we will again do this in the online format. So it's going to be in middle of November during the Boao forum. If you are interested in that, just pay attention to our website. More detail will be there very soon. Except we do the festival, actually for the Canada Art Tech, Canada-China Art Tech, we do a lot of collaboration and research with different organizations in the world as well. So there are some ongoing research projects. For example, this one is a Quebec-Shanghai collaboration. So we work with the Shanghai Symphony and the Shanghai Grand Theater. So that's the production we will use the interactive media to actually, it's two actors from the traditional art opera. So then we use mocap and holographic display to display one virtual actor, and another one will be in real-time physical location and interact with this actor. So another one is with the Quebec and Shandong. So mainly for the two provinces, the companies in VR and XR to have a collaboration. Again, this has been supported by Quebec government, the Ministry of Relationship International, and Francophone. So that's our partner from Qingdao. It's a Sandbox Immersive Festival. Another one is also ongoing, working with the Telecom China and Shanghai Symphony for their application 5G plus 8K. We take a small portion from that. We use a machine learning algorithm to scaling the regular video to the super resolution. So that's about our research. We have a lot more as well. If you're interested, can contact us. So next one, I want to introduce you about the festival. Actually, this year is also already 5th edition. So we have this online form. It's the first one. After this, we will have a few other online forums and also online gala and award and also screening. Each year we have a theme from its first edition in 2016, and this year is a Canada-China 50-year relationship. Also, it's very important. It's our theme as well. We are so honored to always get support from the important filmmakers and professionals from the industry. So these two directors, Mr. Xie Fei and Li Qianquan, they are very important foundation of Chinese film, and they are our honorary chairman. We're also so lucky to have a Canadian filmmaker, Alain de Rocher, and very well-known Chinese film director, Hu Mei, also as our ambassadors for the festival. You will also enjoy Director Hu Mei's presentation today. Also, the festival has the opening ceremony. This year, we won't have this like in a physical location. That's the photo from last year. We got support from City of Montreal and National Film Board and Montreal Chinese Consulate. More than 40 Chinese filmmakers traveled to Montreal to meet with the local companies here. We also have a master class and women film forum as well. Again, that's a photo from a screening. So screening, we always showcase the excellent Canadian and Chinese films. Actually, we also have other submissions from all over the world, like France and from USA. That actually is our just to showcase our excellent best actress from last edition. The first edition one from China. She's very excellent Chinese actress. And also the third edition won by our Quebec famous film actress. We also have this gala and award ceremony. So that's from the photo from 2018, just give you an impression. We also draw the Cannes Festival. Actually, from last year, we drawn with the Telefilm and Saudec, went to Cannes and to meet with our other partner festival colleagues and excellent international filmmakers and the companies. So something about myself and our team. So that's why you will understand why we are doing all this. Actually, while I was in China, I was a journalist in CCTV. Then my major for my study was in theater. And later I became a documentary filmmaker. So that's the one I won 2011, the Beijing Film Festival Best Documentary Film for my short film. After I came to Canada, I continued my study in computer science. So a lot of people so feel like surprised about my background. After I came to Canada. So I finished my PhD studies eventually. Then that's my thesis. Actually, my major was in computer science and in interdisciplinary a research field. And so I combined my background in the documentary and production, theater. So combine that together. So that's my thesis topic. Later, we had our research team. Actually, even today, like we have those researchers from all different fields, like software engineering and computer science and dancers and digital media artists and all that. So we're so happy to work together because it's so innovative and so inspiring. So that's another photo. Just I was so honored to join Governor General, the social science, the annual conference as well as a emerging scholar. We intend to bring our academic research to the production, to the real world. So that's the collaboration we had with the Central Academic Drama. So 中央戏剧学院 it's so important, top tier university in theater production in Asia. So that's their graduation production. So we had produced 3 scenes with the interactive technology and for those mocap on the stage and based on the director's statement and requirement. So also we collaborated with the local companies and artistic troupe. So those visual and audio and lighting, it's real time based on actors' movement on stage and sound as well. That's another research from the university point of view, supported by Global Affairs of Canada. So that's 2018 January. We were part of the Quebec Premier, the delegates to visit China. So the Concordia and the China Research Institute of Film and Science and Technology, they had a collaboration. So I led the research, physical simulation for facial and body simulation production. At the end, I really would like to appreciate our team. So we are all volunteers, and some of them have been with us for more than 5 years already, since beginning like 2015, before the first edition even took place. And some continue working with us, and we always accept or welcome new talents to join us. Without them, and it's impossible we have take place until today. So I really would like to appreciate them. And for the last few years, they've been working so hard to rehearsal and all that. I would also like to appreciate our wonderful speakers from China and from Canada, and one from Japan, even located in Japan at this moment. And thank you so much, our audience as well. I hope everyone will have a wonderful evening. So join us if you are a company, if you're a research group, if you're an artist, if you want to develop some project together. So we are together can make this bridge between Canada and China, even among the world, will be stronger. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
感谢宋淼博士的精彩演讲。下面是第2位嘉宾，他是位科学家，也是位艺术家，是从2000年开始从事虚拟视觉、虚拟现实以及多媒体领域的研究工作，导演了多部影视及多媒体作品，作品曾获得华表奖、星光奖、美猴奖、莫比斯多媒体国际大奖、中加国际电影节最佳科技奖等多项国内外奖项。主导创作了2019世园会奇幻光影森林和智慧文旅平台等优秀示范项目，并广获赞誉。下面有请中科院自动化所正研究员、中国科技文化传播产业创新平台执行副理事长兼秘书长葛水英女士做精彩演讲。Thanks, Dr. Song Miao, for your wonderful speech. Now let's welcome the second guest speaker. She is a scientist as well as an artist. She has been engaged in virtual reality and multimedia research since 2000. She has directed many film and television works, and her works have won many domestic and international awards, such as the Huabiao Award, Starlight Award, Canada-China International Film Festival Best Technology Award. She led the creation of demonstration projects such as Fantasy Light and Shadow Forest and intelligent culture tourism platform of the 2019 World Horticulture Exposition. Now let's welcome Ms. Ge Shuiying, Research Fellow of Institute of Automation, Chinese Academy of Science, Executive Vice President and the Secretary General of China's Technology and Cultural Communication Innovation Platform, to give her wonderful speech. Welcome.
好，大家好，我是葛水英，很高兴参加此次论坛。我今天与大家分享的题目呢是交互数字旅游，开启文旅新篇章。我先分享2个案例，可能视频会更直观一些。赛道。
奇幻光影森林，在这场穿越现实与想象的旅行中，游客的一举一动都将影响到这片。
很奇特的事情就是站在这感应器的前面，然后我就可以在屏幕上出现。
象征吉祥福禄的白鹭从树林中浮现，满足人们的心愿。
工作人员用树木打造了一个光影森林展。
进了这片神奇的森林，行进在这条林间小道，人体的温度会触发旁边的树根。
有白天和夜间2种不同体验。尤其是夜间光影打造的神兽仙灵，
奇幻光影森林在一片寂静的山海中徐徐展开，游客在这里的一举一动都将与这片环境进行交互。
The ongoing Beijing Horticultural Expo is not all about gardening. Mythical animals will then show up if enough magical stones are interacting with this magical forest. Take a look at what's above me. With the help of human-centered interactive.
这是一个线下的案例，我们再分享一个线上的案例。
比较方便，
我觉得里边那个导航特别好用，
挺好的，挺方便的。8分吧，8分左右吧，8.9分，9分吧。
过海灯，9子10城灯，10面埋伏灯，这些个灯。
这两个案例呢放在一起演示，是因为这两个案例都是以交互数字内容为核心的案例。先说奇幻光影森林，除了它是一个光影的景园，交互的光影景园之外呢，这次呢我们与华为和中国移动共同打造了基于5G 的示范。它也是行业内首个基于 ARM 平台的这个数字艺术景园，也走通了基于 MEC 这个技术框架的技术路线。所以当5G 介入之后，我觉得这是一个开启新的数字时代的机会，它增加了这个数字内容快速复制和落地作为一种文旅形式的可能性。同时呢，在 IP 上，我们采用的题材是中国的传统文化的一个经典，叫《山海经》，有非常的这种极观性的特点所以这次在世园会展映以来呢，还算受到了不管是游客还是政府层面还是行业层面的认可那么这个奇幻光影森林呢，还有一个特点，除了它。刚刚我说它的 IP 具有奇观性嘛，我们有神兽这些让用户能走进一个神兽森林本身也是很震撼的。同时呢，多元交互，不同的交互形式能够让用户有代入感，这是奇幻光影森林。那么刚刚第二个呢是我们的一套文旅平台，视频中也能看到有导航这个订票预约但这些都是基础功能，最重要的是以 AR 体验为核心的虚拟景园。我们通过图片识别、轮廓识别、实物识别、定位识别，就不同的识别方式，让虚拟的这个景园场景和实际的旅游当中的景区的景点相结合，所以呢，能够看到比如说赵云在水上的一段表演，能够看到杨贵妃在漫天飞花当中的表演这都是现实生活中你没有机会能够看得到的。所以呢，我觉得数字内容的这个旅游形式和落地的景区文旅做结合的时候，能够呈现给观众完全超乎想象之外的体验，这个才是核心所以当然其实这两个案例呢，每一个案例都是可以充分展开来分享的一个大方向，但今天因为时间有限，所以我觉得我们主要是就是核心词在数字内容为核心，因为我觉得数字内容是划分这个文旅的一个里程碑，就是分为有数字内容时代和没有数字内容时代。当有数字内容之后，那么景区可以更新，可以迭代，可以改变它的样貌，可以让用户在同一个时间走进不同的景区所以这些都成为了可能。那么加上多元交互之后呢，能让用户有更丰富的体验像我们在奇幻光影森林就是用了这个自然交互、穿戴式交互和手机移动端平台的交互，来给用户的体验，让他参与到景区中去，参与到情节中去所以这个也是旅游的一个文旅的一个趋势跟方向。同时呢，我们增加了平台的服务使内容体验与商业形成有机的融合所以我认为这个方向可能对于我来说是一个方向。好，我们追求的是在有边界的区域提供给大众超乎想象边界的体验，这个是我们追求的。今天时间有限，我与大家的分享就到这里，谢谢大家。
Hello everyone. I'll quickly summarize Ms. Shuing's speech. It was a pleasure actually to work with her from the beginning when the ET Summit started 5 years ago. And we had some joint research work done. So Shuing shared some experience that her team had in designing and developing immersive interactive night tours like you've seen in the videos. So it's one of the pieces called Fantastic Light and Shadow Forest that was released at the World Horticultural Exposition back in 2019, or last year. And then she went over in her presentation over development trends and specifically on issues of digital tourism as a new business model to integrate science, technology, culture, and tourism industries. So she mentioned a few technologies in her presentation about artificial intelligence, 5G ARM processors, and augmented reality, and how users interact and consume that experience to enjoy the new forms of entertainment in terms of in immersive and interactive realities. So, and this is, she explained it in the context of the content-oriented production and experience for viewing and experiencing scenic spots, providing public this type of opportunity to go anywhere, especially these times where the borders are kind of erased through this digital innovation. So that's a quick summary. Etienne, please.
Now I leave the floor for my associate and friend, Olivier Goulet, who will talk much better than me about that phase, about that lab. Olivier, c'est à toi.
Thank you, Nasib. Hi, everyone. So we're really introducing a new service within our facility, which is the Lab 7, which is really a great new feature to allow the community of entertainment to push new boundaries and to push the use of technology with human in a live context. The idea of working on our show with Ubisoft pushed us to realize that there's a lot of R&D, there's a lot of exploration, the complexity of the assets and the tools that we want to use in this new multi-platform format. We're mixing a live show, a virtual audience, a museum, a game environment is the perfect context to present our lab. First of all, we're lucky to have 64,000 square feet in downtown Montreal with 2 great studios, 2 great rehearsal space in our creation center. And we're now partnering with a couple of manufacturers and companies in Montreal that will render equipment, high-end equipment, accessible for R&D and testing of new technology in the live entertainment. Really, the model is to help the community unite where our worlds are colliding between live entertainment and traditional live shows, but also VFX and gaming and virtual production. So we really want to become a place where everybody collaborates and works together and share experiences and contaminate each domain of entertainment. There's 4 main axes that we want to push. Of course, applied research, because we have the space, we have the equipment, and we have the equipment that allows us to cover all aspects of the show. So whether you want to come and test the link between an automation system for human performance with an engine like Unreal, we're going to be able to allow you to use lighting and sound and put it in the real context of a live show. The second thing is the prototyping. So we really want to help the community push their product and test their product in that context of live show and come to our facility, allowing them to document enough proper material to support digital marketing and put that on the market and go get investment or start selling and finding investors. Same with the schools and newcomers or people that are not necessarily in touch with technology that much. We really want them to come and have access to equipment with the help of our manufacturers and the equipment and the specialists out of the community. We really believe that it's going to be a great place for people to implement their knowledge and test their knowledge in a real stage situation. So we're really proud to announce that we're starting the lab officially. It's something that's going to be developed and presented in more detail in the next coming weeks. It's really a great tool, certainly for us, to push our shows like Assassin's Creed. There you go. Thank you.
悉尼先生和古拉先生介绍了他们的 Lab 7项目的内部工作原理。该项目是为了推进创造性的技术实验， 在这种情况下，他们展示了一个原型案例研究，从剧院后台、主舞台、观众舞台设计、沉浸式体验。他们还展示了一个由艺术家表演的项目，并将其转化为刺客信条的动作。Lab 7项目旨在为艺术家和技术专家提供帮助，以帮助交互式沉浸式项目的应用研究和开发。他们会提供64000平方英尺的场地，配备了最新的娱乐技术，并以实惠的价格出租给创意人士。Lab 7还将开发一个软件工具库，其背后的理念是允许老牌和新兴公司与 Lab 7建立合作伙伴关系，以加快其创意项目的开发，并将其投放到现场演出业务中。Lab 7的原型工作室将允许艺术家和技术专家进行这类工作，设备制造商和软件开发商将有机会在实际生产环境中测试其产品，而创作者和专业人士也将有机会测试其作品的可行性和有效性，以促进在 Lab 7展厅及其他地方的推广。此外 ，Lab 7还计划支持创业公司在空间内发展新业务和新的商业模式。所提供的广播技术也将使他们有更多的远程曝光机会。同时 ，Lab 7也会提供所需的培训以及支持。谢谢。
感谢 Nesban 的 Oliver 先生的精彩分享。下面演讲的嘉宾是金田影视智慧传媒产业园杨峰总，他也是国际电影节主席联盟的联合创始人。杨峰先生凭借在金田电影产业园为年轻电影制作人创造机会的杰出成就，被誉为中国传媒大学的荣誉导师。下面有请杨总跟我们分享。
Thanks to Nasib and Olivier for the excellent speech. The next speaker is Mr. Yang Feng, the co-founder of the Chairman Alliance of the International Film Festival. Mr. Yang Feng is known as the Honorary Tutor of Communication University of China for his outstanding achievement in creating opportunities for young filmmakers in Jintian Film Industrial Park. Now let's welcome Mr. Yang to share his insight with us.
大家好，我是来自中国北京金田影视产业园的杨峰，很高兴今天和大家一起分享数字媒体艺术在中国市场的应用。在目前中国的文旅市场需求方面，中国文旅产业大发展的时代已经来临。过去和将来有大量的文旅产品和设施需要建设。文化科技驱动产业升级的时代也已经来到。现代的高科技技术在文旅产品中的应用越来越提升到一个比较高的要求。中国政府对于数字城市文化建设的方面投入在不断的加大，我们看到的数字城市的建设，比如说灯光秀、数字文化公园等这样的设施越来越多。人们通过对于优质的数字艺术的欣赏以后，它对艺术的需求越来越高。在中国发展娱乐科技事业有得天独厚的条件。在产品方面，中国有丰富的产品制造以及低廉的价格来进行应用市场。在中国娱乐方面也存在大量的人力，过去有很多的软件公司在从事这方面的工作，现在又有很多的其他行业的人员已经进入到这个行业，比如说影视科技、娱乐、游戏、动漫、通信技术行业等，不断的加入到这个行业中。在目前中国的市场已经形成了几个龙头的市场和企业，比如说在北京、上海、深圳、广州、杭州等地区已经形成了比较极端的比较聚集的市场，以及比较优质的企业在引领这个行业的发展。在市场分布方面，我们也看到，在西南地区和西北地区这样传统的旅游地区，对于这种市场的需求非常的大。在中部和东部地区，各种高科技产品层出不穷。在内容需求方面，我们看到的是， 定制剧的要求越来越大，尤其是对于地方文旅和地方历史故事这样的不断演绎与文旅的结合，还有在一个故事情节上不断的演变的这种数字光影剧形成的数字资产的系列剧，比如说我们在重庆要做的钓鱼城这样的一个系列题材，主要是讲述成吉思汗的故事。在标准剧方面，目前在中国需求量也非常的巨大，这方面包括宇宙的探索、科普的应用，可以应用在各种各样的场景中。在室外剧方面，因为疫情的需求变得越来越大，政府对于城市的量化工程和美丽城市工程，对于数字艺术的需求也非常的大。这个方面主要由政府的购买。在传统的商业里面，也对于这种产品的需求变得越来越急迫。我们各种的小型文娱产品，尤其是组合性的产品，在这种传统商业中应用非常广泛，有巨大的市场需求。在商业合作模式方面，我们看到的是需求方与内容方在不断的进行合作，由经营分成这种方式来进行推广和应用。大型的文旅开发商也在购买内容的制作与委托运营，来进行新的升级换代。政府对于城市的量化工程、文化工程进行的工程招标也非常的多。各种商业综合体对于系列化的文旅产品的销售和管理服务应用也非常的急迫。在中国的应用市场里面有几个特点。第一是人群效应，在中国很多大城市是人群密集，过千万的城市很多，一旦在这种城市形成口碑，这种效应是非常巨大的。在中国文旅市场里面，主要是以人头经济来计算，票房是主要的内容。例如一个剧这样的大型演出，一年有300场的演出，每一场有3000人左右，那我们一年的收入有可能达到100万人，最少也有30-50万人，这样的流量是非常巨大的。在中国，互联网自媒体传播非常的发达，人们在这个方面进行互相的信息传递，尤其是年轻人，利用好互联网平台，这是我们数字媒体艺术的天然属性。在中国，对于优质产品的需求变得越来越高，新型的技术应用对于这种产品的推动是非常迫切的。由于在中国的多点应用，在多地区多城市的应用，虽然票价可能比北美和其他国际市场上相对低廉，但是因为有人数的基数巨大，我们的总的收益还是非常不错的。这是我们未来在中国市场的几个特点。在产品开发方面，我们建议我们一起基于北美这种优质的公司和产品和运营的经验，结合中国的传统文旅市场和新兴开拓的文旅市场，一起来共同工作。比如说，我们现在在和七手指这种合作的框架下，就是一个非常好的范例。我们利用了北美市场的优质的开发经验和运营经验，配合中国的文旅市场，由中国的应用方和制作方来配合，这种互联网技术的应用和工作平台，在开发过程中能创造出既优质产品又低廉价格产品体系。这种合作可能比我们在通常的国际合作、国际市场过程中 的成本会下降30%以上。优质的产品、低廉的价格在中国市场永远是有优势的。对于人才培养方面，我们也极其的重视，尤其是在应用型人才培养方面，因为中国存在着巨大的市场，人才短缺是一个极大的问题。我们也希望在这样一个方面，结合我们国际上的比较优质的经验，进行大量的专业技术人才的培养。这种培养也包括技术方面，比如说4K、5G、VR、AR 等数字媒体艺术和技术，尤其是 AI 智能应用，在这个方面非常的需要。在开发组织系统方面，我们也建议由北美的组织方，比如说中加电影节组委会和中加艺术科技联盟这样的机构，将北美的技术方组织起来，提供出优质的创意、优质的技术体系和优质的运营经验，来指导中国的市场的发展。由我们中国的组织方，比如说我们中国今天影视产业园和中国科技文化传媒产业创新平台这样的机构，来组织我们，比如说今天参加会议的水晶石科技、中科视维这样优秀的中国企业，将中国的优质资源组织起来，一起完成中国的技术体系应用开发，来应用于市场的这样一个体系。这种合作，我相信在未来的不久，将会在中国市场上引起一个新一轮的升级产品的热潮，尤其是在我们的大型文旅市场，我们是具有势，因为我们知道数字媒体天生是具有头部效应的。在中国目前的多屏应用、流媒体的应用，已经开始针对电影市场、电视市场、网络剧市场以及手机屏、iPad 屏这种体系全的服务，将来的技术完全支撑这多屏的发布。这样的合作，即将到来的合作，在中国落地开花。也非常感谢大家今天参加这样一个会议，来领我们的互相的交流。感谢大家。
I will give a quick summary for Mr. Yang's speech. He gave a lot of overview about different business opportunities and digital media technology, art creativity, and all these technologies that he mentioned. You've seen the presentation in English, so incorporating XR, 5G, AI, all these type of technology, and how this industrial driving force behind this technology and collaborations for cross-border integration in order to bring these technologies to market and to something he mentioned specifically for smart cities, digital creative smart cities. That was the, so he mentioned a few cities in China that are leading in that domain in the market, in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and others. As well as how the plan is to collaborate with this, with CCAT, with CSCIIP organizations, and to have this joint development system between, let's say, China and Canada in order to have this success in this digital smart city, which includes big data production and consumption, intellectual property management, digital assets, financial services, and all these things integrated together. So he had this last slide discussing about this. And the main point he made was if whoever can seize this opportunity from the industrial point of view will basically be in this domain, because in this pandemic situation, that's the way the industry is transforming itself. So that's about it. It's in the end.
感谢杨总的精彩演讲。下面欢迎加拿大 divertissement 公司产品经理 Ben White 上线演讲。
Thanks, Mr. Yang's excellent sharing. Now let's welcome Mr. Ben White, Product Manager from Derivative Canada, to give the next speech.
Good morning from Japan. I've been working with Touch Designer over the last 18 years at Derivative. And last summer, an old friend from university asked me, you're still working at the same place so long. What keeps you motivated? And it's a good question. When I thought about it, every year I see people take new technologies with Touch Designer and create things that have never been done before. And every year Touch Designer is used in new fields of expertise by amazingly talented people. This pushing of new technology and working with such creative minds has kept the past 18 years very interesting and exciting for me. So today I'd like to share some of that and show you some uses of Touch Designer in stage production and film, and then talk about some of our research and development that we're working on, and finally highlight our education and community efforts in China. So in the media art, live stage show, and film production worlds, many disciplines are required to come together into one project. For example, you'll have prototyping, video playback, projection mapping, audio, lighting, and show control all coming into one show. Touch Designer has the ability to handle all of these tasks in one tool, but also in cases where other software and hardware or specialization is needed, Touch Designer can easily integrate with other systems to bring a project together. This first example here shows Touch Designer being used in interactive show lighting. White Void, a company from Germany, developed a custom Touch Designer application for kinetic light installations. These light sculptures suspend elements from the ceiling using winch motors, which interactively animate the movement and color of the lights. The application also includes a full interface for show programming and preview, and this helps them design and test shows in a virtual pre-visualization that saves them time and cost on site. The initial LED system on the previous slide has evolved over the years into new forms, such as this Deep Web on the left, which added laser tracking to the same system. And then more recently, Scalar on the right, which uses mirrors and focused light from moving head lighting fixtures. Again, the reuse of the same system and constantly evolving it has allowed them to create these incredible pieces. Projection mapping has long been a popular use of Touch Designer. Live stage productions often mix projection mapping with their lighting to add extra immersion to the scene and delight your audiences. Here we see dancers being tracked by on stage by a BlackTrack's marker tracking system. This is a software company from Toronto, Canada. And this positional information is used in Touch Designer to control the projection mapping in real time. The lighting and lasers and everything else can also access this data to make the environment respond around the performers in meaningful ways. Touch Designer is also found on set in film production. For the Academy Award-winning film Gravity, a Touch Designer-driven light box of LEDs was constructed to place the actor inside. This gave a realistic lighting environment for scenes where they were floating in space. Instead of having the actor float around, the light from the light box and the robotically controlled camera did the moving around the actor's body to give the same effect, and they were kept in perfect sync. This was much easier on the actor, obviously, and it also made these amazingly long shots possible. For the set of Alien Covenant, director Ridley Scott wanted more control of the timing, the sequencing, and the on-set effects when setting up each shot with the actors. Touch Designer fed real-time content to over 120 monitors and screens on the set of the spaceship. Besides the obvious advantage of true lighting and reflections in the camera work, this also reduced the time and money spent in post-production. It also had a nice side effect of improving the timing and engagement of the actors because they weren't blindly acting in front of green screens. So a little bit about our research and development. In the tech community, obviously things change very quickly and new ways of doing things are constantly being invented. So our research and development often focuses on giving creators new ways to experiment with technologies that become available in our field. This leads to discoveries in new production techniques and new pipelines. It often results in time and cost savings. But I think most importantly, it spurs inventions of new experiences that weren't previously possible. The use of AI and deep neural networks on GPUs have opened up new image analysis and recognition possibilities. Recently, we have integrated Wrench AI, which is another software company from Canada, in Montreal actually, for skeletal body tracking and face point tracking. This gives Touch Designer the ability to find human bodies and faces in any video or camera feed. We can then use that positional information to create spatial effects or trigger events. This technology doesn't require any special cameras or depth sensing, so it can be used in venues of all shapes and sizes. And this really offers new possibilities for tracking. Touch Designer is also particularly well suited for machine learning research in content creation. On the upper right here, you'll see a colorizing top project using machine learning models to add color to completely black and white images in video. On the lower right, you can see machine learning motion models can add lifelike animation to images in real time, bringing them to life. Machine learning can offer artists entirely new ways of creating content, but also it can speed up their creation process by quickly producing interesting variations of the content. This year, many live and public events have been redefined as virtual and online events while the world adjusts to the pandemic and life in it. We've been working on new tools for positional camera tracking, allowing live cinematography to be mixed with virtual elements seamlessly. This can be used for live television broadcasts, online performances that are streamed, or AR experiences like concerts and festivals that are taking on new forms. So education and community. Education and community are two of our top priorities at Derivative. Touch Designer is currently used in film and theater programs, media art and interactive programs, graduate studies, and more. We aim to keep the bar of entry low for students, and we offer a completely free version of Touch Designer, as well as special educational licenses for students in schools in their computer labs or for bigger projects. And Touch Designer's community truly spans the globe. Outside of the Americas, large user groups have been established in Europe and Asia, and this offers great opportunities for international collaborations with professionals, students, artists alike. The Chinese Touch Designer community has grown pretty quickly through educational efforts in the last 2 years. We'd like to thank Digital Fun of Shanghai, which is a studio in Shanghai, as leaders in growing that community. Their nonprofit initiative called Tech Education Art has created many freely available Chinese language learning resources for Touch. This year, they also released the first textbook for Touch Designer that's available in Chinese. The past 2 years, Digital Fun has also hosted Touch Designer-based new media festivals. I was lucky enough to join both of them. for people to come together and share their knowledge and learn from each other. Presentations, workshops, exhibitions, live performances are all part of the program, and it usually goes for 2 to 5 days. The plans are underway for a 2020 edition later this year in a new hybrid sort of online format. Here's some final thoughts about Touch Designer on this slide, and also how to reach me. It's been great to be here today. It's fascinating to see what everyone's doing here at today's ET Summit. I hope to have future conversations and collaborations with you, and I look forward to coming back in the future. So, Chi, I'll hand it back to you now.
Thank you, Mr. Voigt 先生介绍了 Derivative 公司的核心产品 Touch Designer， 这是一个软件平台，致力于创造一个任何人都可以访问，将想法快速转化为现实，与他人进行互动，并能适应大大小小视觉和艺术创作项目的工作流程的工作平台。Touch Designer 是为艺术家、设计师、开发人员等量身定做的，很多工作都是在媒体艺术和舞台制作领域，比如交互式视频和音频、激光表演、投影映射和表演控制。Touch Designer 通常用于现场演出以及建筑投影、电影场景中的预演、媒体服务器等。该平台的主要特点是利用基于节点的图形语言对潜在的思想进行快速开发和原型化。随后 Voigt 先生着重介绍了舞台制作、电影、新研发，包括机器学习以及教育项目和中国社区的专题和案例研究。然后他描述了 Touch Designer 内部在使用人工智能及机器学习方面的新进展，以及它的 Python 脚本功能，特别是在 AR 的跟踪和摄像头控制方面。最后他着重介绍了 Derivative 对社区以及教育活动的支持，和近期在中国和其他亚洲国家的发展。您可以在 Derivative 公司的官网上了解到更多的产品信息。谢谢。
感谢 Voigt 的精彩发言。下一位嘉宾是融创文化旅游集团产品研测部副总肖洪博先生。肖总是文旅行业资深策划和运营专家，负责整合国内外最优秀的资源，利用家庭欢乐供应商的企业平台优势，打造中国最具活力的文旅平台产品体系。下面有请肖总跟我们分享。
大家好 ，Hello everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Today I'll be giving the speech actually in English because I haven't prepared an English version of PPT. But again, really honored to be here to share some of my opinions and my field of expertise. And maybe it's a little bit different from all the predecessors, the previous speakers. I'm more of a operator. I'll be talking primarily from the field of application. So I'll be talking about two parts. The first one is take a look at the trend in tourism growth here in China and identify the point of breakthrough. And the second, I want to explore some of the possibilities, how new tech can empower hotspots of this sector. First of all, let's take a look at the trend of tourism growth here in China. In the past few years, the contribution coming from tourism has been over 10% to GDP. And that is a significant portion of growth. And tourism has also been leveraged across board of all the sectors in the national economy, such as agriculture, technology, urbanization, environment protection, and everything. So tourism basically touches on everything. And as the average GDP in China reaches $8,000, we have seen a tremendous growth of vacation demand from the Chinese citizens. And so the vacation style type of trips has become really the trigger for the growth in the recent few years. The size of the market has been growing, but the investment growth has been slowing down because the investors are now primarily focused on return and efficiency rather than just scale. The scale is relatively past now. We're not looking at ways to enhance experience so that because the vacationers are looking for quality time rather than just some time spending elsewhere. And then with that tendency in hand, we're looking at ways where technologies can help us to improve the experience of Chinese vacationers, such as AR, VR, 5G, blockchain, and robots. So we're looking for you guys really to bring in these new technologies into the field of application in tourism. We're really looking forward to that. Another aspect is that we're looking in ways where major IPs can be used in our venues, both in cities and in suburbs or in remote resorts. And with the post-epidemic era, Chinese government has been stimulating what is called a domestic cycle, namely that they are encouraging all consumptions to take place within China. So we're looking at the some of these previous trips that are made outside of China, these so-called high-end spenders. They're going to come back to China. They're going to come back to high-quality destinations. That's where we want you guys to help us to build better experience, even with the previous venues. Again, as the largest tourism asset operator in China, we know that number one cannot be sustained unless we can constantly improve and grow and renovate, right? So that's what I call the second curve. Now we're already on top of everybody else, but we have to identify the key opportunity, the strategic point where we can make the breakthrough. Again, SUNAC is undoubtedly the biggest operator and asset holder of tourism sector here in China. We have 12 huge tourism cities, like 40 plus parks and 70 hotels and things like that. But again, how can we sort of give new life to these assets? I think technologies can help us with that. I just want to explore a few points, a few aspects of application for new technologies to help us. I would just say it's called Entertainment Plus, right? How can Entertainment Plus properties or assets can contribute to better experience? The first aspect that I want to talk about is commercial space, namely Entertainment Plus commercial space. If you look at the chart below, this is the sort of a percentage of experience-related business in these shopping malls in the past few years. They have been growing from 42% to 56% as of 2018. Today, obviously the number is still growing. So this is the trend. Everybody's looking for new things to experience, not just shopping, not just buy stuff, right? They want to experience new things in these malls, right? That's just what's happening. So I have divided these so-called experience-related shopping desire into 4 categories: themed entertainment, sport and health, ecology, culture and arts. And within these categories, we have all different types of businesses that essentially are using technologies to convey the core experience. And this is a sort of a business model we have been developing, a new model, if you want, an entertainment mall type of experience that guests are coming into these malls, not just to purchase their, to make their daily requires, but also to be somewhere else, to be someone different, to experience new dimensions. This is what we want. This is what we want to create. And the second aspect is resorts, namely one-stop hotels, resorts. This is where we want to combine all different experiences into one particular location. We call that one-stop resort. In here, you have families accommodation looking for a consorted experience maximized into one opportunity. Here we have accommodation, F&B, experience, entertainment, sports, you name it. And we're looking at possible technologies that can make that integration even more smooth and efficient. And another aspect is what I call kids entertainment. This is crucial because all the Chinese families are now focusing all their resources on how to bring up their children in best ways possible, right? So that's where all these old school kids parks are no longer in the wake because they're not able to provide what their very intelligent parents are up to, right? So maybe we can find ways to build better parks, better themed and digital and interactive environments, and temperature controlled water parks, or even ecological space with with pets and animals, what we call previously pet zoos. And another one I want to talk about is this huge development, what we call tourism cities or towns. These are 1 or even 2 kilometer square developments where we have to identify the key central piece of attraction for people to come here, but the purpose is to have them here and live and enjoy life. And this is the wide spectrum of demographics where we have been focusing on. They will be coming as families, as couples, as students, as groups, and they are coming all the time, right? So this is a model we have been developing. As you can see, this is really the resort, right? It's a large development. It's in a perfect location with water, mountains, and delta. And we have been building like archaeological stations, art centers, convention centers, old cities, and new urban area within all of these. So the last piece I want to touch upon is these night events, because with all these previously mentioned venues, there's actually one thing in common, right? We want them to come here and enjoy a good time, but they cannot come unless they are free at night, right? And Chinese people typically spend more at night than day. So let's focus on how to use your interactive technologies to bring the night to life for our commercial space, for our amusement parks, and so that they can, fully launch their lives, fully launch the momentum into the night. And obviously, that's going to facilitate our hotel business, right? And again, what I think about technologies, they will use data. They will collect data, predict the behavior, and help us and help you to create better products that can be competitive on the market as the market is continuously and constantly changing itself. We want to stay on top of the curve. Actually, we want to even create the second curve, right? And the technologies has to benefit personal growth. Everyone has to grow from their experience in these different venues, right? Technologies can help with us, so they can have educational experience. They can learn about speed. They can, share their success. Whatever they have discovered in these experiences will be out there for everybody to see. Again, the ultimate goal is to remain competitive so that we can have sustained growth. Thank you. That's all for my speech today.
Thank you, Mr. Xiao, for a wonderful speech. Mr. Xiao Hongbo is the Vice President of Product Research and Strategy Department of Sonic Culture Tourism Group. Xiao is also the Senior Planning and Operation Expert in the culture and tourism industry. He is responsible for integrating the best resources at home and abroad, using the corporate platform advantages of Family Happy Supplier to create China's most dynamic culture and tourism product system. Thank you, Mr. Xiao again.
感谢肖总的精彩演讲。下面有请加拿大 Moment Factory 公司东京办事处首席制作人 Normand Pierre-Bolliger 发表演讲。
Now I have Mr. Normand Pierre-Bolliger, Chief Producer of the Tokyo office of Moment Factory, Canada, to give a speech. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for the opportunity to present a Moment Factory tonight. I will divide my presentation in 3 different sections. So the first one is who we are, the second is what we do, and some projects to highlight some of the things we've done in the past and that give you a good idea of what we do. First thing is we're a unique multimedia specialized in the creation, design, and production of multimedia environments. So it's a studio based in Montreal. It's a place where we do mostly everything and to which we attach our arms in an international way. So we're about 400 people in the studio. We have 7 offices in the world. So well, of course, Montreal being the main base, but we have 7, one in Paris, one in Tokyo, one in New York, one in Los Angeles, in London, and now Singapore. So obviously we're already doing some projects in Asia, some of them being in the south, like Hong Kong area, Macau, Singapore, and of course Japan. We're just starting to tap into the Chinese market. We've done 450 productions more or less through the years. It's our 19th year. We're turning 20 years next year. And the most important thing is that we do everything under our roof, which means that all the products we're doing are turnkey. So we start with the design, we go into the production, we do all what we need to do for our different products, and we deliver, we integrate on site. What do we do exactly? This is the key of our company. So we have 3 main services, let's say. So one is content. We already talked about tonight, we heard about the 2D, 3D, AR, VR, production, video, film shooting. This is all part of what we do in terms of content. This is the imagery we put into our installations. There's a second service, which is interactive. So interactive, we have different layers. So one, of course, we talked about Touch Designer. We also have our own software that we've developed through time, through R&D. And of course, we develop all the solutions in terms of experience, in terms of interactivity. So all the simulations and a lot of prototyping. So this is what interactive does. This is second service. And the third one is scenography, which is taking a site and creating all the set pieces, all the elements required to integrate the content and the interactivity and the technology to create an experience that is seamless and becomes magic to a certain extent. So some of the projects we've done in the past, actually, we divide them into, well, 2 main families. Of course, there's a broader view of what we're doing. When you've done 450 projects, it's obviously there's different, but the 2 families are first the shows. This is more like temporary events, brand related, let's say short-term installation, rock and roll tour, musical exhibits. So that would be in the shows category. The second category is destinations. So this is more permanent. It's more things that will bring, either the canvas will last for a very long time and we will modulate the content through the years, or it will be an installation that will become like a landmark element of a city or or an area, for instance. So these are the two big families. I will focus on one of the formats that we've developed in the last few years, which is called Lumina. So Lumina is a way to activate, it's a night walk actually, and we activate areas, whether it be urban or in the landscape and on a mountain, in a forest. The idea is really to activate at night, to bring people in, to put them in an enchanted area where we create, more of the time, there is local cultural elements added to the experience. There is technology that becomes a little bit mesmerizing. whether it be lighting, or whether it be some of the music, sound effects. So it's all part of the experience. And this is something that's actually developing at a very high pace throughout the world. So we started about 4 years ago with this specific format. And we've developed 13 so far around the world and some in Asia. What's important to say is that it started just as one curiosity in Quebec here, one small element that would just enhance a bridge, an area where there was like a nice river, and people would say, oh, we'd like to see it at night. And it started to grow and grow and grow, where now people will come, will stay there. Even around this area, they built hotels and they built other facilities to support this new attraction. So it became, actually, it reversed the perception of it was a place to go during the day because you could not see. And now it became, actually, it's at night that it's the most interesting, and that's the most magic. The other advantage of the Lumina format that we just found out is that because it's sequential, meaning that people actually go either one by one or by small groups, they actually walk in the forest, so we can really keep distancing in terms of the COVID. So like you see on this page, we have 13 of our Luminas running at the moment, and even under COVID, they're all running really well. We have another one that will open next year in Rochefort in France. Like you can see here, we have already Luminas operating in Japan, in Singapore, and we're having discussions with multiple Luminas in Asia and Oceania at the moment. Another project that we've developed, actually it was a single project at first, but it grew through time because the client, which was Changi Airport in Singapore, first wanted to have an experience that was international, that was a high quality, that would actually value the local culture and the local elements that were available and put them and value them into this brand new high-tech airport that we were doing. So we did the first experience in 2017 for this first terminal, but then it grew, and then we added more experiences inside the different terminals, whether it be the departure area where we created this gigantic wall where you have either local elements, cultural, geographical views, but at the same time, some very interesting 3D animation on the luggage. And for some of you that may have gone through, it's very entertaining, and it changed completely the perception of departure and waiting in line for security. It becomes almost fun to go through this. This brought us more projects. Active bicycles for the transiting area, and now we're already working for a project coming soon for the new terminal. Last project is a good example to give you an idea of the scope of what Moment Factory can do. We have the Jacques Cartier Bridge in Montreal. So there was the 375th anniversary where they wanted to do something with the infrastructure, and they didn't know exactly what they would do. So the first approach was to have it lit and to have something that it would look good to support the infrastructure. But we actually, Moment Factory brought something completely new to it, which is that not only would be lit, it would be kind of alive, of course, as a lit structure, but on top of it, you would have interactivity. So actually it changes color with season, with events, whether it be Christmas, whether it be any changes with the weather, it's completely interactive. So if it's a rainy day, if it's a snowy day, then you would have different lighting for the different situation. If it's autumn, it would be red, it would be changed. And even the colors change slightly through the days. You can even set at Montreal on Twitter, and you will have your own pixel that will travel through the bridge. So it's fully interactive, really owned by Montrealers. It's very, very appreciated. A last element, projects that we're doing at the moment, some of them are in China, like I said. So this is our latest baby that we're doing, which is Baidu Artificial Intelligence Immersive Experience, that we will all open in Beijing in a few weeks from now, actually, at the UCCA Center for Contemporary Arts. So this is something we've completely developed in Montreal. We've designed, we've created, but actually because of the limitations of travel, it will be completely integrated by local supporting partners. And this is interesting. It's 100% remotely integrated, although the whole experience was designed by Moment Factory from Montreal. So yeah, that's about what it is. Maybe a last single word is that our motto has been for many years that we do it in public. So in the situation of the COVID, we saw there were not only challenges, but also opportunities. And we just realized that bringing multimedia performances and experience to the world is now more than ever a vision that looks very bright for the future. And we're very happy to participate in this upcoming trend. I'm very looking forward for meeting you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Moment Factory 在东京办事处的代表 Bilodo 先生概述了 Moment Factory 所从事的项目类型，是一家从事多媒体环境创作、设计和制作的多媒体娱乐工作室。该公司成立19年来，在全球7个办事处拥有约400名员工，总部设在蒙特利尔，还有新加坡、巴黎、东京、纽约、洛杉矶以及伦敦。Moment Factory 的3个主要工作重点是内容创作、交互环境和场景设计。Bilodo 先生介绍了他们如何从一个客户的想法到实地实施的整个工作流程。他还举例说明了 Moment Factory 系列作品中的签名秀、主题装置、营销、音乐会、公园和公共环境等。重点项目遍布全世界多个城市，比如卢米纳森林夜游、樟宜机场剧院、洛杉矶国际机场内的多媒体设置、雅克卡利亚桥的互动照明，以及他们即将推出的艺术和人工智能项目，比如北京百度人工智能沉浸式体验等。谢谢。
感谢 Norman 的 Pierre 先生的精彩分享。下面上线的演讲嘉宾是北京水晶石文博展示有限公司总裁、执行董事、中国展览馆协会展览理论研究委员会副秘书长、中关村会展与服务产业联盟副理事长王朝华先生。有请王总发表演讲。
Thank you, Norman Pierre, for the wonderful sharing. The next guest on the line is Mr. Wang Chaohua, President and Executive Director of Beijing Crystal Stone Cultural Exhibition Company, Deputy Secretary General of the Exhibition Theater Research Committee of China Exhibition Center Association, Vice Chairman of Zhongguancun Exhibition Service Industry Alliance. President Wang, please give a speech.
好，各位朋友，大家好，我是北京水晶石文博展示有限公司。今天呢，我想从2个方面，聊一聊。一个是，水晶石近几年都做了些什么？另外一个是，在沉浸式体验和文旅方面，水晶石的一些创新尝试。首先是公司的简介，水晶石呢为不同的行业客户提供基于数字影像服务的设计施工一体化以及影视产业综合服务的解决方案。公司目前主营业务大概可以分为4个方向，一是综合展馆，主题活动、商业展示，以及影视宣传。当然，这里面也包含了文旅的相关业务。那么，水晶石一直致力于将文化和科技融合，多次服务于国家级的大型活动和项目。那比如北京奥运会、上海世博会、伦敦奥运会以及2022年北京冬奥会等。那么，水晶石还凭借精湛的技术，率先成为了国际展览局在全球范围内签署的首个企业战略合作伙伴。那么在服务好国家项目的同时呢，我们在文旅和沉浸式体验上也在同步发力。那么其中交互体验和数字视觉是我们的核心技术能力。为此呢，我们专门成立了这个产品研发中心。产品包括机械交互、屏幕交互、虚拟 现实、艺术装置、影像交互、互动识别以及特种影院。当然这大类还可以分成很多和细项。以上这么多呢，也只是工具，是形式。真正可以帮助我们研发的呢，是思路。这个思路是，就是跨界与融合。那要求我们把传统的这个多媒体内容与科技与互动，与更多好看好玩的形式做结合。这也是公司一直在讲的科技和艺术的跨界融合。那沉浸式体验其实就是一种极致的跨界融合尝试。那我们都知道，沉浸式体验的本质是通过特殊的环境打造和叙事形式，丰富的感官刺激，为受众提供强烈的代入感和共情体验。那沉浸式体验其中的一个重要元素，情境营造，它本身就是多种体验形式的跨界组合。这是多媒体艺术装置，马达这辆小球，它本身是一个机械装置，如果它和音乐做一种结合，就会演生出一种音乐可视化的效果。那环境里同时有了实体的机械装置和虚拟的音乐氛围，情境就变得丰富起来。如果同时再加入视觉元素、灯光等元素，那么这种丰富就会更加立体。视觉创意方面是水晶石的核心主营业务。在声光电的沉浸式体验应用上，我们也做了更多的尝试。这是我们制作的大型新媒体全景舞剧《奔月》。这是我们为大同云冈石窟制作的沉浸式影像体验空间，整体演绎了一段有关石窟的超长叙事。这是我们在象鼻山公园，以园区实景为载体，运用多媒体元素，幻影成像、激光、灯光等多种技术手段，立体演绎了桂林的山水和文化。这是去年我们刚刚落成的项目，在银川花博园，同样运用了丰富的灯光和影像元素，将整个5700亩的园区打造成一个沉浸式体验的夜游场景。那么项目在开始策划阶段，我们就以动态情境的思路来进行设计，这是其中的一个场景。这是另外一个影像、灯光和空间结合的场景。那么这个项目呢，我们整体有一个视频可以分享一下。 那好，以上就是关于文旅和沉浸式体验我的分享内容。希望线下我们有更多的交流机会。谢谢。
Thank you, Chaohua Wang, for this presentation. So this is just a quick summary of what you've seen. So some slides, they were in English, so it's I'll do a quick summary of this. Crystal CG, they specialize in different digital visual display design for art, AI, and technology. So this is their business part. And they focus on these exhibitions, integration of these digital imaging services in entertainment and film and TV industries as well. So Chaohua presented 4 categories in which Crystal CG is working, 4 sectors. So the first one was the exhibition hall. That's the detailed design of indoor exhibition spaces, thematic activities, some of them that you've seen on the presentation, commercial exhibitions, and film and TV. So these are the 4 main categories. He also made a reference of this and commitment of Crystal CG of developing of business in culture and tourism industries as well. And integration of this culture and technology together. So like you've seen the previous presenters, that became a big and topic of opportunity to do. So some of the projects, the large-scale project Crystal CG was involved was the Olympics, specifically Beijing Olympics. And London Olympics, as well as expos such as Shanghai World Expo, and they're bidding on 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing as well to do. So one of the things that they've done as well is within China's International Exhibition Bureau. So they were the first strategic partner in that collaboration. So, and they work on the cultural tourism as a result as well, and providing different immersive experiences, which you've seen in the videos and the images in the presentation. So they've done an R&D center as a result as well to guide these creative design and development processes, including cross-border integration for culture, art, science, technology, and all related to the multimedia content delivery and interactive art forms. They had in that domain also related projects such as the new media dance performances. One of them was presented, Running to the Moon. And indoor and outdoor experiences that you've seen. So some projects worth mentioning, such as Yungang Grottos, Xiangshan Impression, and Yinchuan Floral Garden Expo. So that's the domain they're working in. So that's the end of my summary. Thank you. It's in the end.
感谢王总的精彩分享。下面出场的嘉宾是美国谷歌 VR 高级科学家 Paul Debwick， 他也是南加州大学维特比工程学院计算机科学兼职研究教授，他曾获得了多个著名奖项，其中最近一项是第91届奥斯卡颁奖典礼的科学和技术成就奖。下面有请 Paul Debwick 先生发表演讲。
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. And it's great to be here. Let me thank Mio Song for the invitation to be part here of the China-Canada International Film Festival special event that we have this morning and tonight. And I will try to share my screen and show a bit about what we've been doing. Mostly in my job at Google in their research division. And some things that are relevant to virtual reality and to some other technologies that we've been doing for virtual production. And so let's see here. I'm going to try to optimize for the sharing here. I'm going to share screen, and hopefully we can see some stuff here, and I will get this going. All right, can people see this?
That's good.
Looks good, great. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can still see me. I'm gonna be a little bit in the dark here. We're hearing a lot about virtual production technologies today. And one of the things that they leverage is the ability to, on set, when you're making your film, to be able to illuminate your actors with the light of a virtual set so that they're lit the right way for compositing them into that environment. And this is something that we started working on at the University of Southern California, even back to a paper that we published at SIGGRAPH 2002, where we, just as they first became available, used red, green, blue controllable LEDs to make a sphere surrounding an actor with controllable computer illumination, and then automatically driving them, the lights, with the light of virtual environments that we had captured as panoramic images. And as you can see here on the right, these actors have been composited into these scenes where the lighting and the background is consistent, even though they're just standing inside this light stage. And we had some opportunities over the years to work with the Hollywood entertainment industry to apply our technology in real productions. For example, in Spider-Man 3, back in 2007, most of the actors in and out of costume were brought into the light stage to get images of what they would look like lit with different virtual environments that they would need to be seen in for the movie, so that the digital artist could make sure that the digital versions looked the same as the real actors did under different lighting. And in the movie The Social Network in 2010, this actor named Armie Hammer had to play both of these brothers, but he was only in the front of the boat. They had a different actor in the back. And so we used our light stage to reproduce the illumination on him back in the studio so he could play the second role of the actor in the back of the boat. So here's Armie Hammer acting, saying the lines that he should say as the actor in the back, and you'll notice the lighting is changing on his face, automatically driven by the light stage in order to composite him into the scene appropriately. And if you take a look at the final effect, it's pretty convincing because a lot of effort has been made to get that lighting right, so you can put him in there. Now that lighting stage just used red, green, and blue LEDs, and something that we know today is that you can do a better job of simulating illumination by adding more colors of LEDs, not just red, green, and blue. If you can fill in parts of the visible spectrum, such as amber, cyan, or a broad spectrum white LED, and our latest light stage, which my PhD student Chloe Legendre here did her PhD thesis about, uses multispectral lighting, which illuminates the scene with a better recreation of the color rendition of daylight or incandescent light or whatever your virtual environment calls for, by illuminating them with spectrum made from all of these different LEDs. And we had a special opportunity working with a visual effects company in Beijing, China, called SUV, to build a large-scale virtual production stage using our technology, starting about 3 years ago. And this is a panoramic image shot in Beijing of SUV's 8-meter diameter light stage. It has over 1,000 of our special lighting units, and it can illuminate actors in this special stage with any illumination from a virtual set or from a real set that's been captured with panoramic photography, and then it's recreated for that illumination. And they have been using this for many television and film productions in order to put actors into the scene that weren't available when the scene was shot, or to change who an actor is. sometimes you change who the actor is playing a character in the 3rd season of a television show, they can actually go back to season 1 and season 2 of the television show and take that new actor and make it look like it was them for the entire series, which is very impressive. And this is taking a look of some special behind the scenes footage. They did a demonstration of how they're using this in practice for me, where they have a scene from a Chinese television show, and they let the visitor was me today, be one of the actors in this show. So I sit in the chair in front of a green screen, and Mr. Dong here explains to me what to do. He's going to give me some direction to tell me how to act. Turns out I was wearing a black jacket, which was the right costume for this. And obviously I'm not an actor, but with a little bit of direction, they were able to tell me what I needed to do to be in the scene. And very importantly, the light stage was programmed to reproduce the illumination that's necessary. So,
你是检察长，谈谈你的意见。告诉你，我尊重您和省委的意见，但是。
So obviously I was not really part of this, this television show. These are some other commercial uses where the actor you see playing the doctor was not really the original actor in the show. And they had to change who the actor was and use visual effects and the light stage to put this actor into the television show. And as you can see, it's very effective. And they can get a very good result using the pipeline that they built, leveraging the light stage lighting reproduction technology from USC. Now, another thing that is useful when you're building a virtual production stage is thinking about, in some cases, you want to have much higher density illumination. We noticed even back in 2002 that with only we had 156 lights. If you zoom in close on somebody's eye, you can see all of the reflections of the individual lights. It's okay for standard definition, but it's not okay for 4K transmission. And so as soon as it was available to use LED panels, we started designing systems and doing tests to surround actors with LED panels instead of individual light sources. And our first test was done in 2004, where we had these Barco LED panels. The LEDs were 9 millimeters apart, and they're better now, so you can get in-camera effects more easily. But as you can see, we set up our system to drive them with some of the light of our virtual environments. This is a section of the Grace Cathedral light probe image, and we're illuminating this actor's face. There's a camera here, and we're trying to check to make sure that the reflections will be high enough resolution at that distance from the panel. And you can see there's very good reflections in the eyes, showing aspects here of the Grace Cathedral panoramic image. And we were able to work with the production crew, the visual effects supervisor, and the director of the movie Gravity. We heard about that earlier, about their innovative use of Touch Designer to drive LED panels. We helped consult about how to build them. I got to meet Alfonso Cuarón and the cinematographer, Emmanuel Lebesky, and we did a test in one of our light stages of surrounding the actors with LEDs. This is individual light sources, and playing back illumination. This is before they had cast Sandra Bullock and George Clooney in the roles, and so we have test actors here. And we're driving them with the light of rotating space environments in order to do the test. And eventually, what they built over in England was built out of LED panels. They called it the light box. It was done in 2011, and it could play back the light of these virtual environments that were rendered with a global illumination rendering system. And we all know that the results of that looked amazing because you really believed those actors were in space, near explosions, and floating through the International Space Station. So that was a huge success. I won't show a movie because we saw that earlier, but there's still been more work to do. One of them is that this is still for only individual actors. And a very exciting development recently has been applying this to entire sound stages using the LED panel technology. And a great example of that also took place in China. The first large-scale LED stage was done for a movie called Asura. This was designed by Charlie Ichiriaga for the Ningxia Film Group Corporation. And it started in 2016. And since these LED panels are largely made in China, they had access to a very large amount of this technology. And they designed a very large stage, 26 meters by 20 meters by 8.5 meters. Panels on the floor, on the ceiling. And it was the largest use of this technology to date for this film that was shot in 2017 and 2018. Here you can see that they've built physically some of the grass for this scene that's supposed to take place outside, but they're displaying the mountains and a lot of the illumination on the LED panels that surround the actors. And they're also doing a very nice thing that's innovative by making the area inside the camera frustum be blue screen so that they can composite an even higher resolution version of the scene behind the actors. That doesn't really affect the lighting on them very much to have this blue screen back there, but it gives them more flexibility in the post-production process. A few of their shots did get everything in camera. This is what the final shot looked like. And isn't it nice if you can, at the snap of your fingers, make the lighting in your studio match the lighting that should be on the actors for the scene that is being filmed. This, of course, is now also being used in the United States, and the most notable application of that is for the Disney Plus streaming series in the Star Wars universe called The Mandalorian. And here you can see they've used a cylindrical light stage LED system to illuminate the actors and a complete ceiling. And it is very exciting that this television show won 2 very important Creative Arts Emmys this week, including Best Visual Effects and Best Cinematography, which is very well deserved. So I'd like to talk about a couple of other technologies as well. One of them has to do with what if you want to add digital actors to the scene to be in the same place as the real actors or in the same scene as the real actors, and also have control over how they're being lit. And also to think about how we can capture the environments that surround the actors, not necessarily by authoring a video game environment, but instead maybe capturing it from the real world and then viewing that in virtual reality. And so this project I'll show quickly is another use of a special light stage device that we built at Google that is designed to capture the entire human body. And this is my colleague Christoph, who is walking inside the light stage and at 60 frames per second is being digitized into a digital avatar of himself. And importantly, the light stage uses 2 very special lighting conditions that allow us to see not only what the surface color of his shirt and his skin and his whole body is every frame, but also the surface orientations to help us create a very high resolution 3D model. And so all of these people are members of my lab who were digitized, and we've dropped them into virtual environments where now we have complete control over what viewpoint we view them from, and in post-production, we can view them in any illumination condition. So we can add them to scenes as well as another tool as we create digital content using virtual production technology. And the last thing that I'd like to talk about is work that we've been doing with something called light fields. This is motivated originally by virtual reality and the fact that things like the Oculus Quest, just heard this week, there will be an Oculus Quest 2 coming out solo in collaboration with Lenovo. These have 6 degrees of freedom tracking, and they are able to update the viewpoint of the scene as you move your head around, which is very exciting. And as a result, you can generate a very immersive experience that you're really there in the world. But that's easy to do when it is video game content, and it's easy to render it in computer graphics from any position you need to see it from. What if you've recorded your video with real cameras? How would you create this entire volume of viewpoints that you might need to see it from? I proposed in 2015 that you might need a whole ball of cameras to record all of the rays of light coming into this volume, and then using light field rendering techniques to synthesize new views from inside the volume in real time to give people the impression that as they move their head around, that their perspective in the scene is changing. And I'm very happy to report that just very recently, we have released a light field video solution from our group at Google that actually achieves this in a practical way that can be streamed over an internet connection. And the device that we built is this rig right here. We actually built it for not so much money. This is made out of action sports cameras that come from China called the Yi 4K. They're a little bit inspired by the GoPro cameras, but they cost about $100 each. We put 46 of them on this dome, and turns out domes are easy to get, made out of acrylic. And we film video from 46 viewpoints, all looking out in different positions, so that you can then go into virtual reality and see it from any position. We're seeing our artist in residence, Alexa Mead, painting one of her subjects in this environment that she's created as a potential event to watch virtually after she's done it in a very three-dimensional experience. The video that we record looks like 46 different video streams, all showing the same thing with all the cameras in sync and from different positions and looking in different directions. And the goal of our algorithm is to turn this into one multi-viewpoint video stream that we call light field video using our deep view algorithm that can be synthesized and rendered on the client side in the VR headset from any position that it needs to be rendered from as you move around for about that size of viewing volume, which is comfortable for seated VR. And I can show you some results from this. This is a good chance to show some of my collaborators that I got to work with. And this is a fun scene of one of our friends making some sparks in his workshop. And instead of just being able to do a left eye and a right eye view in normal stereo, look how in post-production, we can move the camera around. We can move it left and right. We can move it up and down. We can look around. We can generate all the views after it's been shot, however we want. We can freeze and keep moving the views, like one of those time slice shots. And this is what you need to create that very realistic three-dimensional experience in virtual reality. And this had never been done in a way you could stream it to a VR headset and see it on standard virtual reality software. So these are some more fun scenes of our colleagues visiting a farm, playing on the beach with their dog. And where we see this can be more relevant to virtual production is that this could be the kind of imagery that's displayed on those LED panels surrounding the actors. And then you can put virtual actors into these scenes and real actors into these scenes. And you have all of these tools at your disposal to create photoreal people, virtual and real, in photorealistic environments that are relatively straightforward and efficient to record. And that's the material that I brought today. There's a link that I'll post in the chat where you can download this virtual reality experience to your own VR headset if you want. It's totally free. And also see some of these light fields moving around in your web browser. So with that, let me again thank some of our colleagues, thank the organizers of CCIFF for another amazing event that's been great to be part of. And there's a couple websites down there, and I'll post some to the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, for brilliant sharing. Paul is our heavyweight guest. He's also a senior scientist at Google VR in the United States, who's also an adjunct research professor of computer science at the University of South California's Berkeley School of Engineering, and he has won many prestigious awards, the most recent one being the Scientific Technical Achievement Award of the 91st Oscars. And now I will summarize what he shared with us today. 那今天的这个泡先生的总结呢，主要分为4个部分。第一个是当时他在读博以及在南加州大学的时候做的一个照明的系统，这个系统会捕捉并模拟人和物体在真实照明下的这个外观，以及把它应用到一些电影制作当中，比如说像蜘蛛侠2和蜘蛛侠3。同时这个技术也应用到了北京当时的一个电影当中，就是在一个沉浸式的光视频系统当中捕捉到这个Paul 先生的这个影像，然后把它植入到一个北京的这个电影当中，当时效果是非常好的。第二个就是他会建造了这样的一个，也是在中国建造了这样的一个360度的一个3D 的舞台，在这个舞台上可以播放一些背景的影像，然后在电影当中呈现出来的是非常逼真的一个效果。第三呢，就是在 Google 当中有一个这样新的技术，它会在 Google 的这个实验室里去捕捉移动的身体的这个信息，给它制作在电脑当中生成一个这样3D 的一个替身，非常的高分辨率。这种替身可以应用在一些虚拟现实的场景以及在一些电影的场景当中。那最后就是Debalik 先生谈到了在这个 VR 眼镜技术的这种升级迭代更新，不仅仅只是可以应用在游戏当中，同时也可以通过一个半圆形的这样的一个新的装置来捕捉一个电影当中360度的一个场景，这样当观众戴上这个新的眼镜的时候，它来旋转旋转它的这个头部，就可以观察到这个电影在周围360度整个的这个场景是什么样子的。而且他们有和中国的合作，可以把这个装置的价格降得非常的市场化，也可以尽快的普及到大众当中。这就是最新在这个 VR 领域当中的一些技术的更新和换代。非常感谢 Paul 先生的发言。
感谢 Paul 先生的精彩演讲。最后出场的一位重量级嘉宾，他是国家1级导演，他导演的电视剧《雍正王朝》《汉武大帝》《乔家但愿》等等，电影《孔子》《进京城》等等。他的影视作品的和他的名字一样，几乎家喻户晓。下面有请著名导演胡梅女士发表演讲。
The last heavyweight guest to appear is the nationally well-received director. She directed the TV series Zhongzhen Dynasty, Han-Wu Emperor, Qiao Family Courtyard, film Confucius, Into the Capital, and other film and television drama works, and her name is almost a household name. Here is a famous director, Miss Hu Mei, to give a speech. Let's welcome.
Hello, 大家好，看得到我吗？
看得到。
很高兴在这里来到中嘉电影节娱乐与科技高峰论坛，很高兴在这儿又和一些新的朋友见面了。疫情的原因使我们改变了生活方式，改变了交流的方式，但是呢我们因为有 Internet， 我们因为有这些技术支持着我们，在世界各地的朋友们，大家仍然坐在一起谈论我们关爱的娱乐，谈论我们创作的电影。关于这个我想谈的呢，主要是关于在数字媒体技术在中国电影艺术创作中的作用和功效。这个功效呢真的是越来越大了，它不断的在发挥着越来越重要的作用。我大概是从2015年的时候从电视剧创作当中回到了电影的创作。我创作了《进京城》这部影片。那么在这部影片当中呢，我就感觉到了中国数字媒体技术的发展。到 2017年和18年我在筹备和拍摄新电影《红楼梦》的时候，这样的技术呢，已经从原来进京城的大概占比，在一部片子当中占比20-30个镜头，发展到了现在600-700个镜头这样的数量。那么其实早在2010年，我上映的这个影片《孔子》这个片子当中呢，其实就有很多的 CG 技术但是呢，因为当时呢，我对于这个CG 技术这一块呢，完全是一个零基础所以呢。当时主要的力量是来自于我们的著名的摄影师，我的搭档包德喜先生，他也是奥斯卡奖摄影的华人的唯一获得者，所以呢，就是当时已经在2010年的时候已经使用了一些这个电脑的合成技术但是就 CG 技术吧，但是今天看来呢已经目不忍睹了，所以在去年我的电影又在中嘉电影节放映的时候，又重新放映了《孔子》这部影片，应该说我当时呢其实有点目不忍睹了，因为这毕竟是整整10年前的技术了。其实10年前都不止了，11-12年的技术了，所以呢，那个时候呢，做的那些东西呢，在我们今天看来已经不堪入目了。因此，我和这个电影节主席宋苗女士说，如果有可能，我愿意把《孔子》这部影片的全部的 CG 技术重新制作。回到中国以后呢，我也对这件事情进行了这个推进。但是非常不幸的是，10年前的所有的胶片，我们找到了底片，但是呢，还有数字中间片这些一些环节就完全找不到了，这个是非常遗憾的。但是在今年在这个19年在19年、18年，在我们制作《红楼梦》的电影当中，因为大家知道《红楼梦》呢是一个世界文化遗产也是世界最著名的文学作品，4大名著是中国的4大名著之一。那么《红楼梦》呢，它中间很重要的一个电影的元素呢，就是它有一个非常著名的叫太虚幻境，同时呢还有这个在这个三生河边这个女娲补天的宝玉的石头，三生河边的这个黛玉的绛珠草等等这样一些经典的桥段，正是通过这些这个。在几百年前，这个曹雪芹先生的这种超人的想象力用神话般的这个语言描述了宝玉和黛玉之间的爱情的悲欢离合的故事，才有了他后来就是所谓的虚幻。叫做《红楼梦》就是假作真时真亦假，无为有时有还无这样的一个故事的骨干。那么正是由于这些虚幻的虚拟的场景的描写呢，给我们提供了支撑一部大电影的这个视觉冲击力的这部分资料。但是呢，很遗憾，在我因为疫情的原因我们和那个美国的那个航班断绝了之后，我们收不到那个美国发过来的这些小样，也没有收到，就是大概中间断了7-8个月吧。当我们收到了全部打包制作回来的这个资料的时候呢，我们是很不满意的，因为现在中国电影的观众，在这个中国进入 WTO 以后，西方电影的大量涌入，已经就是惯坏了中国电影观众的眼睛。他们有了在这个中国的电影观众的观影习惯呢，有了非常大的改变尤其是现在呢，主流的 电影观众呢是80后、90后和00后，那么他们的视觉观影的经验是非常超前的，是这个引领了中国这个现在电影和电视的观影的主要潮流啊。他们呢就说按照以往的传统的中国的这种固有的这种CG 技术是不能够满足现在广大的电影观众了，尤其是年轻的电影观众。那么最近可喜可贺的是，我们中国涌现了一批吧，不多，一批新锐的青年导演，他们出产了一批优秀的作品。那么我们也很惊喜的看到，在 CG 技术的这个上面的标准和突破，也都有了非常大的这个进步和提高。那么，比如在2018年到2019年涌现的上市的这种应该还早了，2016年到今天吧，将近5年的时间里，我们看到了原来不可能做到的一些影片，质量是非常的高端的。那么就比如说像《狼图腾》是吧，像《三生三世十里桃花》，以及去年的哪吒，还有最近的我们看到的震撼人心的800啊，以及这个最新将要上市的《希望岛》等等这样一些片子。像《希望岛》啊这些片子，包括《三生三世》呢，基本上应该说是一个纯 CG 的影片了。那么这样的影片，当然包括《美人鱼》等等哈，都是几乎是纯 CG 的影片。那么这样的电影呢，带给中国年轻的电影观众呢非常大的兴趣。他们呢就是其实很大一部分的这个观影的诉求呢，是因为有这些 CG 技术的支撑，有这些以前没有见到过的这样一些这个视觉的冲击力，所以呢他们才能够涌向电影院。所以中国电影的票房是以井喷式的速度在发展，这和我们中国电影人的 CG 技术观念的提高有非常大的关系。那么通过这个创作实践呢，我也意识到哈，就今天作为一个称职的电影导演呢，你必须要具备全部的数字技术、数字媒体科技技术的了解啊。那么我们呢也必须得要了解在世界范围内的技术领域发生了什么样的革新。那么很高兴的，刚才我们听到了这个谷歌的包先生的这样的一个新的介绍，也非常高兴呢，听说他是在北京已经有了这样的棚。我希望呢线下呢我们能够取得一个联系，因为马上现在正在筹拍的一部战争片，我想可能如果能够有这样的一些技术支持，我觉得是非常非常对于一个现在到处漫山遍野找景的导演来说是非常非常开心的一个消息啊。所以呢这个我觉得另外一点呢，就是我们现在通过这5年的创作实践，我注意到呢，作为一个导演，必须要在强调我们电影创作的前置部分、前置的筹备部分，比如说美术设计的概念图的这个部分、设计部分，怎么样并且要极好的和我们的视效总监、视效团队进行合作，要坚持一以贯之的实现我们最初的理想哈。非常感谢。今天能有机会，在这儿结识了一些新朋友，又和我们的老朋友在这见面，也非常感谢加拿大数字媒体技术联盟、科技联盟，发起了这样一个有意义 又有意思的论坛。希望我们能在这个这个联盟的平台上哈，凭借中加电影节能够联起手来开拓视野，互相支持，从内容的展现到这个跨界的融合哈，科技部分的引入，我们共同开发、共同发展，走向未来。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Humei. It was a pleasure, your speech, and we were very happy to have you actually last year. So Humei was a presenter and a guest star at CCIF 2019 when we were still before pandemic. And we screened her film Confucius, which had a very I mean, it's a film from 2014, if I remember correctly, but it's had quite a huge audience here in Montreal. So, and we had her speak at ET Summit last year as well. So she went over some of her projects, the film project that we've seen on screen. I think my colleagues here will mention more about what she spoke as well. And some of the films Cici mentioned earlier. So she has quite a big history behind her. As was mentioned, she's a household name in China and is very happy and been supportive of the festival as well since last year. So it's a pleasure to have her here, and she did mention a few people and for collaborations who were presenters here. So thank you everybody who came and gave speeches and the projects they're working on. So I will stop here. I guess I'll pass on to Cici to complete this task. And thank you, Humei, for this, the last but not the least talk.
感谢胡梅导演的精彩分享。
Thank you, Director Humei, for the wonderful sharing.
10位专家分别从影视、舞台艺术、传媒、文旅、智慧园区等不同的角度，诠释了娱乐科技融合的新技术、新项目以及未来发展的趋势。我们收获很多，到此要跟大家说再见了。非常感谢大家的参与。中加娱乐科技高峰论坛圆满结束，欢迎大家再次光临。
The 10 industry leaders have interpreted the new technologies, new projects, and future development trends of entertainment technology from different perspectives, such as film and television, stage art, media, cultural tourism, and smart parks. We are super inspired today. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the 2020 Canada-China Entertainment Technology Summit. Thank you very much for your participation and see you next year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time.